I was sitting here eating my tuna salad, then the DM started to blow up with some Prius spy shots. Let's get into it. Starting at Twitter, this actually came out a few days ago, but we got some more recent ones. All we saw in this one was kind of like this weird blurred out silhouette of what could be the new Prius. And I know a lot of you guys are excited. Those videos have been doing really well on the channel. I'm excited. I'm a third gen Prius owner, proud, mind you, there's no shame in getting 50 miles per gallon, guys. But the bigger spy shot is coming from Instagram. This gentleman getting the spy shot for us. Now, what's exciting is this pretty much confirms what we have seen through Best Car Web's images, the renders that they came up with in their own magazine not that long ago. So let's compare this Prius, the back end here, to what we see. And what are the differences? Well, there aren't that many differences. So if you were thinking, man, this new Prius looks amazing, looks pretty cool from these images, these spy shots are pretty much confirming that Best Car knew what was coming. Now, you can't see this line that goes through, the front passenger door here, or it could be the front driver door, depending on what part of the world you're in, right? Because you can see the steering wheel here. We have a door handle here, no door handle on the back door. That means this is probably accurate with the door handle tucked in to the C-pillar area, kind of like the CHR. Now, the back end is so camouflaged, it's hard to tell what's going on there. There actually might be more depth in terms of verticality to these rear taillights than what we see on this render. But this rear spoiler little lip looks very similar to what we have on the spy shot. The window line looks to be nearly identical. These wheels even look identical to these wheels. This is how accurate Best Car got this. If we look at the very back, this render is inaccurate, assuming this is the same car, which it has to be. It looks very rounded off here. But if you look at the back of this spy shot, it's got more character, a little bit more pizzazz, a little duckbill spoiler-ish coming out the back. We also have a very small little wheel arch here that looks to carry over on this prototype as well. You also have more confirmation that there is no door handle or traditional door handle back here on that rear door. Now, looking at the front, you can see how aggressive this piece is that comes up. It's kind of pointy right here. And then it's kind of hard to tell, but you have these lights. Now, they mimic really closely these lights. And the reason is we have this boomerang and it looks like the blinkers on here. And we have a little Venza / Harrier in the back, mind you. But you have this lobster claw boomerang sort of light here, similar to what we have. It almost looks more aggressive, maybe even more smashed down. And then below that amber light there, we have what looks to be the headlights. And this is accurately depicted here with this Best Car image as well. And as we further zoom in, it almost looks like we have a hood bulge here, but that could just be a camouflage panel put onto the car to disguise it. And you can just see how streamlined everything is from the hood to the A-pillar to the roof line. And then after the antenna here, we have a little bit more slopey roof line than what I think we're used to seeing on the previous generations of the Prius. Now, we're completely flying blind when it comes to what we're hearing from Japan for the interior. We haven't heard anything. What we're looking at here is the current generation Prius, at least the top trims or the Prius Prime with this vertical screen. That is a glare machine. Like, this is not a very good screen. It looks cool, looks pretty decent. I don't mind the aesthetics of it, but man, no fan control button. It's not my cup of tea. I'll just say that. And it has the older software on it. It might be completely transformed. They put new software on it, which they will, the new Toyota interface. What's also been quirky with the Prius, they've always had this center instrument cluster. I guess it makes sense because it's a global model. If you just have one instrument cluster, you can just leave it in the middle, and that will service left-hand drive and right-hand drive vehicles. And while this setup isn't terrible, here's what I'd like to see on the new Prius. This is the interior of the new Crown. Of course, we have, the Crown logo on the steering wheel, which unfortunately we won't see here. Toyota is naming the Crown in the United States, but it just gets Toyota badges, which takes away from the essence of the Crown. I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole, but this would be a cool setup to see this shrunk down for a smaller package in the Prius. Make a less emphasis on the funky shifter. Give us a more traditional screen. Give us more hard touch switches and buttons here to control the climate. When we go into the instrument cluster here, gone is it from the top, instead hopefully replaced by the infotainment screen. And then we have a more traditional instrument cluster behind the steering wheel. Fully digital would be awesome. I mean, who knows how much tech they want to pour into the Prius, but the Prius has to have more relevance than ever when it comes to pushing technology. And the reason is every single Toyota out there has a hybrid at this point for the most part, right? I'm not counting outliers like the dinosaur-old 4Runner and Tacoma. I'm talking about the Prius. The Prius is the torchbearer for technology for Toyota, not the BZ4X. I think the Prius still carries the crown. The BZ4X is a very safe play from Toyota. If we look at that car, the interior, it's not that much different in terms of layout from what we see here. Now we're going to see a steering column heater like we see in the BZ4X, or a front passenger leg heater like we see in the BZ4X. No, but I think there's a good chance that we see a glove box unlike the BZ4X. So Toyota, if you're listening, I know it's too late because the car's pretty much done. Toyota, hopefully if you're listening, we get a setup similar to this in the new Prius to make it a little bit more grown up, a little bit more professional. And I know some of you guys are going to be like, Kirk, no, that kind of takes away from the unique character with that center screen, that funky shifter. I get it, but it's time for the Prius to step away from that, because that's not enough to bring people to the Prius. The Prius needs to be accessible to the masses, in my opinion. So give it a plug-in hybrid, make the normal hybrid 60 miles per gallon. And I guess this is a good segue into the powertrains. Now, if you missed the other videos talking about what's coming for the Prius and its powertrains, let's get you up to speed here. We're going from this 4th generation system hybrid with a 1.8 liter, and they're going to continue it, but update it, give it a new battery, give it new electric motors like we see in the upcoming Corolla. We know it can produce around 138 horsepower based off of what we see in the Noah and Boxy current generations that just came out this past year. Of course, they can make this all-wheel drive like the outgoing Prius, but what's more exciting is that they're saying that there will be the 2-liter hybrid system for the plug-in hybrid, the Prius Prime. And column K, this is the outgoing Prius Prime's setup. Small battery pack. We have about 25 miles of EV range that's reported. I know you guys out there that have Prius Primes can get 32 miles of electric range with this system, but it's still not that powerful. 121 horsepower like the normal Prius, but they're upgrading to the 2-liter system. And I have 2 theoretical systems here. I think this one is the most likely. Around 200 horsepower is potential for this new Prius Prime. And who knows, I would love to see all-wheel drive, but more than likely it'll be front-wheel drive to reduce weight to improve that efficiency. We should see a bump in the battery pack as well. And we're hearing a huge increase in EV range. They're saying 100 kilometers in Japan, but after you convert that to miles on our cycle, it's probably somewhere around like 40 miles, 45 miles of range. So this is the most likely setup. This would be like a dream sporty and efficient Prius Prime. They put an electric motor in the back. They give it a fat battery to give us over 50 miles of range, and we'd be getting 200 plus horsepower. How could we see 250 horsepower? Well, if we look at the RAV4 Prime versus the RAV4 Hybrid, there's a huge jump in power and electric power especially. So if they take this base hybrid, this 2-liter hybrid, which is around 197 horsepower, and then they give it the full juice like the RAV4 Prime, we could be seeing a ton more power, maybe 50 more horsepower, but that will only happen if they have an additional e-axle on the rear that is pretty potent. I don't know how big of an electric motor that they're going to put on that rear axle. Probably very modest like we see on the outgoing models with the all-wheel drive system. So what do you guys think of the Spyshots coming out right now of the new 5th generation Prius? It's really exciting. This vehicle is supposed to come out in the spring, early 2023. So definitely stay tuned. I will give you guys hands-on coverage one day. I don't know when that'll be. I'll give you the first look. I'll give you all the information when Toyota is ready to announce this new generation Prius. I can't wait. Very, very excited. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed, like I said, for all the upcoming Prius Toyota coverage. I am going to Nashville next month to drive the Crown, the Corolla Hybrid, the Corolla Cross Hybrid, as well as the Turbo Highlander. So definitely stay tuned for all that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves and peace out.